In what sequence or order should I put the key elements of a survey? We can start with the greeting or introduction and your first name. Give the respondent a time to complete estimate. Describe the incentive that's involved, what's in it for them, and reassure them of the confidentiality of their input. Then we progress to the qualifying question. After the qualifying question, we usually proceed to the meat of the survey, moving from macro questions such as channel shopping behavior or category behavior, down to more minute and specific micro questions such as customer satisfaction with the store staff's friendliness. After we finish the micro or detailed questions, we typically open it up for the consumer to either vent or cheer or add net new input by giving them 2 to 3 open-ended questions. After those open-ended questions, we typically include a transition statement. The transition statement is your segue. The transition statement's purpose is to reassure them of the confidentiality of their input before you move into sensitive questions. Sensitive questions would be marital status, age. After you've finished your sensitive questions, you are free to thank them for their time and input and say goodbye. Please invest the time to make sure the person you're reaching, whether it's an email survey, landline survey, any format of survey, is exactly the person that you intend to reach. Was the person who is answering the email or the phone call, in fact, the same person who was there while the service call happened the day before? If not, they're really not qualified to give you input, and they shouldn't be the person you're speaking to. Many people assume too much and don't bother to qualify. For example, not everyone who visits a motorcycle site has a valid motorcycle license. Do not assume too much. Make sure you qualify the respondent and make sure that the person that you want to speak to. Undoubtedly, you're familiar with situations where more than one person will be able to check in and respond to one email address. Make sure you qualify. And if the respondent does not qualify for your survey, remember the movie Roadhouse. I want you to be nice. There's no downside to being polite and courteous and spending some time to say, thank you for your time and input. Unfortunately, you do not meet the qualifications we're seeking at this time for this project. I hope you will participate in future research opportunities. It never hurts to be courteous. I've actually seen a number of surveys where upon the disqualification of a respondent, they have rather curtly said things such as, you do not meet our criteria, the survey's being closed. Really? You didn't have an opportunity to be nicer than that? Be nice. No, it certainly does not. For example, if you're asking a top of mind question, that needs to be at the front end of the survey, even though it is a rather detailed question. If you're doing a fast food survey and you're asking about the impact of a menu, there's no use doing a whole lot of macro questions up front. Cut to the chase, ask them what they thought of the menu item. If you're interviewing a deep knowledge expert, there's no use having a whole lot of macro questions and qualification questions. You might want to cut to the specific stimuli you're after. Their time's valuable. Cut to the chase. If it's a current customer, you've already got deep detail on your typical retail or bank or insurance customer. Why are you asking all those questions again? You have all the data on them from segmentation purposes, so get to the issue quickly. If you're using scales, to be honest, sometimes you want to cluster a bunch of questions together. Those could be degree of agreement statements or semantic differential statements, or just staying with 5-point scales as opposed to bouncing around from 5-point to 10-point scales. Once you get in a zone, let the consumer or the respondent stay in the zone of a number of like type questions all in a row. I call these clusters. You can call them whatever you want, but don't bounce around a lot. Give the survey a certain amount of flow. Skip logic is an essential part of modern survey design. It comes with some consequences. So remember, survey respondents feel more empowered if you allow them to skip a question. You may want them to answer every single question, but the fact that they want to skip might signal something. It might signal that they don't remember that information, they don't feel qualified to respond, and they really do feel like they're not serviced by the responses you've given them. If you haven't given them a does not apply or don't remember, it's your fault, not theirs. Skip logic is essential to save the respondent from answering redundant questions. If you already know they're not a loyalty card holder, don't let them proceed to a question where they're asked for more detail about their satisfaction with the loyalty card program. Skip it. One company that really got it right is Booking.com. When they survey customers, they're very efficient with their skip logic in terms of allowing a business customer versus a leisure customer appropriate questions. For example, if you work in the accommodation industry, you know that leisure-based travelers are looking after very different things than business travelers. And an important part of what segments leisure customers is whether they traveled alone or with small children or with their romantic interest. When you hit a question on a Booking.com survey about what was the main purpose of your travel, and they box you into leisure travel, that consumer is asked further questions. With whom did you travel? A business customer, on the other hand, is asked no such question. It's not all for survey sequencing, but it's a start. At least if you have these basic rules in mind, when you're reviewing a survey, you'll be able to tell, is there a reason why they're departing from the classic survey path?